Okay, good morning, afternoon or evening, year 8. This is the end of topic probability test. I'm going to go through it, so if you haven't yet done it, stop now, turn this off, go back to the test that I've set you, have a go at it first. I'll then mark it for you, and this is just for those people that have had it marked and want to go through and see how they can improve their work, where they went wrong, things like that. Okay? Right, let's get started. So find the probability of these events happening. So flipping a tails on a double-headed coin. So double-headed coin means both sides are heads. That means it's impossible for there to be a tails. Now technically they've gone away from using words like expecting you to write likely, unlikely, all that sort of stuff. If you wrote impossible here, it'd be a bit harsh if they didn't give you the mark, but really they're looking for 0%, you could write, or 0 out of 2. All of those would be absolutely fine. It's not possible. Okay. Picking a red card from a normal deck of cards where you've got 2 red suits, hearts and diamonds, 2 black suits, clubs and spades, and actually there's the same amount of each, so it is half, or you could write 50%, or you could write 0.5. What you cannot write is a ratio. Some people like to write for that one 50-50. For probability, never write ratio. In fact, if you look through your answers now, if you've written any ratios, well, that's where you've gone wrong. Okay, never write ratio for probability. Rolling a 3 on a fair 6-sided dice. Well, there's 1 3 and there's 6 sides, that's a 6th. Technically, you could write 16.6 recurring percent or 0.16 recurring, but obviously I'm hoping you go for the easier one there, which is 1/6. Okay. Out of a bag of counters numbered 1 to 10, picking a prime number. Well, let's write down our prime numbers between 1 and 10. You've got, I'll write here 2, 3, 5, and 7. Okay, if you think about 2 is going to be the only even. The only other odds you've got is 1 and 9. 1's not a prime because it only has 1 factor, and 9 also is in the 3 times table, so that's got 3 factors, so that's not prime either. So we've got 2, 3, 5, and 7. That means 4 out of the 10 numbers. I'll accept that. I'll accept the simplified version, of course, 2/5. You could write that as 40% or 0.4. So mark for each one of these, whichever one you got. I'd probably go for that one, and then for that one I'd probably go for 2/5 if I was doing the exam. But as long as you've got one of those, you're absolutely fine. Right, for questions 5 to 8, the answer should be shown as a simplified fraction. So you don't get the choice now of putting it as a fraction or a percentage or a decimal. A decimal or a percentage. If I read my whole question, that would help. A decimal or a percentage. So you can do what we've just been doing, don't panic. Right, here are 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I pick a card at random. What is the probability? It is an R, right? 1 of them is R, so it's 1 out of 8. A vowel. I'm just going to underline the vowels. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 4 out of 8. Now, because it says a simplified fraction, if you're going to leave it as a fraction, you are going to need to simplify it. So you would have to write a half, or 50%, or 0.5. For the last one, you could have written 12.5%, or 0.125, but obviously that does make it a lot more complicated. And N, 1, 2, 2 8s. But of course you need to simplify it, so you must simplify it to a quarter, or 0.25, or 25%. And what's the chance it is a letter? Well, that's 100%. It's got to be. As a simplified fraction, technically that's just 1. It's not 1 out of 1. I mean, if you wrote 1 or 1 out of 1, or 100%, then you'd be absolutely fine with those answers. But I think if it gives you the choice, percentages makes it look so much nicer than that there, and it's so easy to do. Right, using a sample space diagram, 2 dice are rolled and the results are added together. Complete the table to show the possible scores. So first of all, added together. It might have been multiplied, it might have been the difference, it might have been the product, which is another way of saying multiply. There's loads of different things it could be, but it's added. So I'm going to write add there. And then I'm just basically, it says complete the table to show the possible scores. So 1 plus 1, 2, 1 plus 2, 3. And so on, 2 plus 1, 2 plus 2, and so on. Some people notice that you've got this nice little pattern where it just goes up in ones. Some people notice that actually there's a diagonal pattern here as well. My 7s, sorry that they're a bit odd. I'd argue they're a maths 7, so you'll get used to it. And there we have it. Okay, 3 marks there. And if you get a couple little mistakes, it'll go down to 2, and a couple more will be 1, and so on. Okay. What is the probability that the total score is exactly 2? Well, there's only 1 2, and we've got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36 possibilities. So it's 1 out of 36. Greater than 7. Remember, 7's not included in that because 7 isn't greater than 7. They're all the ones greater than 7. 5, 9, 12, 14, 15 out of 36. And technically, that, I mean, you'll get both marks for that, but if you see they're both in the 3s, 5 over 12, that's the perfect answer. Okay? Right. Second page. Billy's going to roll a fair 6-sided die 60 times. How many 4s would you expect? Well, you'd expect 4 to come up a 1/6 of the times. So a 1/6 of 60, 10. How many odd numbers do you expect? Half of them are odd. So half of 60, 30. He does the experiment. He gets 11 5s. Based on this, do you think the dice is biased? Well, you'd expect to get a 1/6 of them to be 5s, which means you'd expect 10. However, 11 is just 1 off. So do you think it's biased? No. I think that's a fair dice. Okay? Just 2 or 3 off. That's absolutely fine. Mary flips a coin 8 times. She gets 6 heads and 2 tails. Can you tell if the coin is fair? No. Now, there's a reason for that. We've not done enough trials. But the question just says, can you tell if it's fair? The answer is no. If you wrote no, you haven't done enough trials, then you'll still get the mark. How could you improve the test? Do more trials. It's just not enough. Anything less than 20 is just not enough. Fill in the table of this red, blue and yellow spinner. Well, we know that they must add up to 1. So 0.3, 0.5 is 0.8. We're missing 0.2. The chance of raining today is 0.7. I should have some sort of another chance of it raining today. Sorry about that. What's the probability of it not raining? Well, you would just do 1, take away that, so 0.3. When flipping a standard coin twice, what is the probability of getting tails twice in a row? That's a really nasty one. So the chance of getting it in the first time is a half. Chance of getting it a second time is another half. So to get both of those together, some people think, oh, you add them together. Of course, that would be 100%, and that's obviously not the case. So you multiply them together to do 2 things, to get a tails and get another tails. You multiply. If it was or something like get a tails or a head, then obviously that's you add those together because the chance of getting a tail or a head is half plus a half, 100%. You will get a tail or a head if you flip one coin. But if you flip a coin and then flip it again, okay, then you're getting the chance of getting a tails and another tails. Half times a half, which top times top, bottom times bottom, quarter. I'll also say 0.25 or 25% as well. They're absolutely fine, but that is what I've gone for. Okay, right, we've got some bit of algebra now, mixed up probability. You know that these need to all add up to 1. So I'm going to write 2x plus x plus 0.4 equals 1, which means you've got 3x plus 0.4 equals 1. Take 0.4 off both sides, 3x equals 0.6. Divide by 3, x is 0.2, and that's our answer. Okay, if you wrote 20% or a fifth or 2/10 or something, you'd be fine, but obviously if we go with decimals, we stick with decimals normally. Okay, right, I hope that you've found any issues or anything like that, anything you got wrong, you think, oh, I know what I'm doing now. If not, just comment back to me saying, I've watched the video, but question 7, I'm still not sure where I went wrong here or whatever. Just let me know, all right? Okay, well, look after yourselves. Thanks, guys. Bye.